My eyes popped out when my kids showed me evidence of wife's infidelity. I understand that we're not allowed to give out names, but I'm guessing maybe full names. I read a lot of posts to try to get the gist of them, but I can't write like them, so vague and to the point. I don't know. I'll try my best. My name is Hector and I'm 47 years old, Puerto Rican. I think the abbreviation is STB. Ex-wife Debbie and I was married for 26 years, we were together for 30. We have gotten married in our senior year in high school when she got pregnant with our firstborn. I was lucky enough to get a job at UPS right after graduation. We struggled in the beginning. She's from a traditional Irish family and they hated me at first. But I won them over. Especially her father. I made sure she didn't have to work. By the time we were 27 years old, we had 5 kids. 4 girls and a boy. I was just fortunate that the boy came out first. We had our arguments over money, discipline methods, and me complaining about the lack of closeness. I understood, we have 5 children and they can be very exhausting. I tried to help as much as I could, but she was still tired. However, she was my everything. She always kept her body in shape. I try as well, but being a delivery driver for a very long time, I'm what they called skinny fat. I have a muscular chest, arms, legs, but I have a sloppy gut. I got the horseshoe hairline that caused me to shave it off. Yet, Debbie was my everything. There were times she was verbally abusive towards me, and whenever I had enough and lashed back, she became a cry bully and I just gave up. As the years went by, we were the only married couple in our friend group. Every last one of them got divorced. Out of our 7 married couple friends, 5 were caused by infidelity on the wife's part, 1 was on the husband's part, and the last one they divorced because she friend-zoned her husband. I was against my wife hanging out with her newly single friends. However, that would just start a massive argument about me controlling her, keeping her as a prisoner, and my personal living love doll. All of that caught me by surprise. The more she hung out with them, the more resentful she became. The kids took notice. I remembered my son and 2 of my daughters arguing with her when I came home, and as much as I understood their frustration, I scolded my kids for yelling at their mother, and when they left the room, I confirmed their issue and she told me that we see her as a slave. I asked her where this was coming from, but she said forget it, shut down, and walked away. I remember D-Day so vividly. Debbie was out with her friends. I was in the kitchen cooking, the kids were watching Train to Busan, and my 3 oldest came to the kitchen. I thought they came to check on the food, but they all had a concerned look. Before I asked what was the issue, my son told me that they think their mother was having an affair. Of course, at first, I didn't believe it. I didn't want to believe it. I yelled at them and I told them I was going to prove they were wrong. I turned on the Where's My iPhone app and saw that she was at a bar on the outskirts of town. I hopped in my truck and I went. When I arrived at the bar, it was crowded, but I saw her circle of friends in the corner booth acting like drunk idiots. When I approached them, they all turned pale and that unsettling feeling hit my stomach. Since I didn't see her in the bar, I went outside and walked around the parking lot. There was a car in the back corner. It looked like the man in the driver's side was sleeping. A man who I thought was my friend. I approached the car to ask him if he has seen my wife, but when I got closer, it was obvious that he was getting a BJ, and the closer I got, the more I recognized the woman in the car. I was practically standing by the driver's side window and none of them noticed me. I lost my temper. I broke the window, dragged him out, and I wasn't civil. Debbie was screaming sorry over and over. I was yelling at her while kicking him. Cops showed up soon after that and I was arrested for offense and battery. I spent a week and a half in county. I had to go into the infirmary because I thought I was having a heart attack, but it turned out I was suffering from broken heart syndrome. The news of what I did spread like wildfire. Eventually my father-in-law bailed out. The man was practically in tears when I stepped through those gates. He profusely apologizes to me for his daughter's actions. During the drive home, he told me he spoke to my manager and union rep about the situation so I can still keep my job. He said that the kids has been staying with him and Debbie was waiting for me in the house. He said he knows what was going to happen, which was why he brought the truck. He was right. When we got to the house, Debbie ran to me crying and tried to hug me, but shoved her so hard that she fell to the ground. She looked at me with shock. I told her to get her crap out of my house and I want a divorce. She tried to fight it, but her father convinced her otherwise. An hour after they left, my mother-in-law came with the kids and I hugged them all for dear life. She apologizes for her daughter's actions as well before leaving. Now in my state, there's mandatory couples counseling before granting the divorce, which in my opinion is complete BS. I don't understand why I have to go to counseling if she cheated. At the beginning of the sessions, I just sat there, listening to her dribble. That is exactly what it was, dribble. Blame shifting on the fact we were young parents and she never experienced the wild lifestyle, the freedom, and she got carried away. She got lost in it and her friends encouraged it. Soon she felt like she was missing something and she started a fling. The counselor tried on a few times to make it my fault, telling me that I should have allowed her to spread her wings every once in a while and how I needed to see it from her point of view. I just looked at the woman and asked the counselor if she was smoking crack, because that was the dumbest thing that could have come out of her mouth. I asked Debbie how long she was cheating on me with him and she said 4 months and insisted that he was the only one. But it was a mistake and we could get past this because we have history. So I asked her more questions. Who initiated the closeness, you or him? How many times did you go down on him? Did you swallow? Did he do you raw? Did he come in you? Did they fall asleep together? Through her stream of tears, she answered them honestly and I was quiet for a long while. The counselor tried talking to me twice during this and I raised my finger. I thought about everything we did before and during her affair window. The laughter, the conversations, the closeness. Everything, and there was no inkling of her being sad or angry. We were just being us. When I finally did speak, I brought up the times we had closeness during that window. I called her a WH*re. The counselor tried to correct me and I told her to shut up as I continued to call her every name in the book. Eventually, I told her she was tainted in my eyes. Again, the counselor and Debbie tried to convince me that our history and relationship can get past this mistake and I didn't want to hear it anymore. It was like they didn't care about my feelings on the matter. It was just about forgiving her and what I can do to get over it and apologize to her for making her feel like a servant. So I walked out. This contested divorce has been a long uphill battle for the past 2 years. Debbie is still trying to make things right, still trying to get us back together. I don't know why, because our conversations are strictly about the kids, and when she tried to talk to me about something else I hang up on her. Family gatherings are consisted of me avoiding her or not showing up at all. Our oldest children refuse to talk to her. I tried to make them spend time with their mom, but they refuse and I have chosen to respect that. My in-laws are at my house weekly and I know they have been trying to make their daughter give me my divorce, but that has been a bust. My mother-in-law has been especially harsh on her, calling her a dumb brat, gossiping about her to her congregation. I had to ask her to stop because I didn't want the whole town to know our business. During the first year, my son and daughter created a Tinder account for me. I thought it was dumb. I'm a middle-aged man with 5 children who has a dad bod. Yet I have been on over a dozen very successful dates that have been a real confidence booster. Recently I met someone during my court issue community service. Her name is Isabel and she was our Habitat for Humanity supervisor. She's drop-dead gorgeous and won first place for a Vanessa Marcil look-alike contest at a soap opera convention she and her daughter attended. That's how we started talking. My daughters love watching General Hospital and I sat with them. To me, this is one of the few times I get to spend with them. I introduced her to kids 6 months in and they instantly took a shine to her. To make things really awkward, my son and her daughter appear to really like each other. However, Debbie is not letting go. She actually told our youngest 2 children that eventually, we will get back together. I had to tell her to stop telling them this. Her father is trying to make her go see a therapist, but I just want this over already. I don't regret my years with Debbie. I have 5 wonderful kids with her. I man up and build a life for her. My only regret is that she ruined 26 years together on a fling. I regret that she thought she had me in a way that I was just going to let it slide and take her back. However, I do hate her. When I run into her old group of friends around town, I openly call them 403 and homewreckers instead of their names. That love and respect that I had for her disappeared when I caught her in that car. She will always be the mother of my children and nothing else. I just hope that she can come to terms with that. Wife cheated with a guy from church that we grew up with. My wife and I have been together since we were 17, we are 33 and 32 now, so almost 14 years married and 16 of being together as a couple. We are blessed to have 3 kids, a house, and a dog. I work in a government-run psychiatric hospital, been working there for 11 years. My work is great, it has provided a decent life for us. I was in a couple of severe motor vehicle accidents. The first was in 2015. I was rear-ended while at a stop. 16-year-old girl slammed into my Camry going 45 miles per hour and she was in a 8-passenger van. My airbag never deployed. She hit me so hard that I hit the car in front of me, jumped the curb and went another 14 feet before hitting a tree and stopped. My head went into the steering wheel, my airbag never deployed and I passed out. When I woke up, firemen were cutting me out of my car, my knees got buried in the dash. This was my first traumatic brain injury. Fast forward, I had 3 surgeries from that accident and recovered. 1.5 years later, I was with my former best friend. He lost control of his truck and we were going 80 miles per hour. We flipped 3 times and landed with my side of the truck suspended in the air. That accident, I really should have passed it as a miracle. I am still here. I crushed 4 vertebrae in my spine, fractured my sternum, crushed my right shoulder, deflated 1 lung, and had a really bad brain bleed. The second accident really messed up my brain. I was diagnosed with a grade 3 TBI. I had to learn how to speak properly again. I was in immense pain, and as a result of using pills from the multiple surgeries, I became massively obsessed with them. I ate them like candy to end the pain. It took a toll on my marriage and my relationship with my kids. I became a monster. I pushed my wife to a place where she said it is either your pain meds or your family. I chose my family and I have been clean off of opiates for 4 years, 5 months, and 7 days. The pills really hurt my wife. While I was recovering from the surgery, she created a separate IG account for self-portraits. She is a photographer and a model, and began receiving a ton of attention on IG from different men. My wife is absolutely stunning and always has received attention since she was a teenager. Mind you, we have been married for almost 14 years now. I struggle with insecurity because I feel so stupid. I was in collegiate honors scholars studying medicine, now I cannot remember the plans each day. I repeat myself in some conversations because I can't remember who I have spoken to about what. I used to be 6 foot tall and I lost 2 inches in height from crushing my spine, but the worst thing I experienced was the brain injury. It really took my self-confidence completely away. So we hit a rough patch in life, and in these past 5 years, my wife is on a journey finding herself outside of being a mother and a wife. I didn't like it at first because of the whole IG thing, but I know now I need to encourage her to be her own person, have her own identity. I learned through therapy that I need to work on that too. I can't only be a husband and father, there is more to me than that. We have had a rough year in 2020, all 3 kids at home because COVID. I was telecommuting some because of it too, and we were all around each other too much. My wife made some decisions that really hurt me and completely destroyed my trust in her. This past summer she had a day off just to herself. She headed over to her ex-brother-in-law's house to watch a movie by herself and did not tell me. She was there from about 8 p.m. to 2:30 a.m. and did not get home till 3 a.m. I confronted her about it the next day and she said literally nothing happened, they just watched a couple of movies and caught up on life and was talking. Fast forward to this year, like I said, we have had some fights and she asked me for a separation and move out temporarily because my anger is scaring the kids and her. We went to my psychiatrist and talked with her about everything. She stated separating right now may do you both good for just a month. Doc said we need to make the best decisions with the least impact on the kids. So I moved in with my boss. He is a psychiatrist and has a mansion house. During our separation, my wife went out to the Cheesecake Factory by herself for alone time again. Expect she was not alone. A guy from church that we grew up with met her there, paid for both of their dinners and hung out there for a couple hours. I personally see this as a date, she does not. She sees it as catching up with an old friend. He flirted with her, she flirted back. A couple weeks later, she made plans to go over to see her girlfriends to watch a movie. I was very upset because she left our kids home alone at 9:30 p.m. My daughter is a lot to handle and has some emotional instability, so I don't like leaving her alone, especially at night. I tried calling and texting my wife and there was no response. I checked our security cameras and I caught her trying to leave. She had disarmed the cameras thinking I would not know. Something in my gut told me she was not going to see her girlfriend, she is going over to a man's house. I called over and over, no answer, until she responded with a text of "I don't want to talk." I was pissed and texted, "Where are you going and leaving our kids home alone on a school night at 9:30 p.m.? Kids are 13, 10, and 6, if you were wanting to go out please tell me so I can come watch them." I asked again and again, "You were really going over to your friend's house and not a guy's house?" She said yes, I was going to see my girlfriend. I knew the truth in my heart. She got pissed off at me because I said I was uncomfortable leaving the kids, so she turned around and went back home. I checked the cameras live until I saw the truck park in my driveway. I downloaded the footage to my phone of her leaving and coming back. I asked her many times if she was really going to see her girlfriend or if it was some guy's house that I don't know about. She denied anything like that and was upset for me accusing her of doing something like that. The next day I said we need to talk. I left work early, met her at a park to confront her again. There was a lot of fighting and finally I told her, "Do not make me a fool. I don't want to be an idiot and find out in a counseling session that you were really going to see some man or you were already with someone else." She finally admitted yes, she was going over to one of her guy friends' house to watch a movie at 9:30 p.m. at night. It was the same guy she went to the Cheesecake Factory with. I lost it, completely lost it. I have never cried or screamed so hard in my life. I was ready to blow my brains out just to not feel the pain. She claimed again that nothing happened, she never even made it to his house. I said I am done, I want to sell the house and I am going to kick rocks. You figure out where you are going with the kids and I will pay you child support before the divorce even begins. She apologized profusely, stating she never meant to hurt me. She just wanted to see a friend to hang out and that our whole marriage she has only ever been faithful to me and never has had love with anyone else. I am hurt because she admitted to her date with him at the Cheesecake Factory that he flirted with her and she flirted back. She says it was harmless, he said. "Why, you are so beautiful," she responded. "Oh yeah? I know I am." She would do the same thing on IG to guys, messaging her about how they want to marry her, give her gifts, be her sugar daddy, etc. The guy that said he wanted to marry her, she responded, "I can't marry someone that doesn't even know my middle name." She admitted to all of this and I said, "If you really want me to stay, either I move back in today or I am done." So I moved back in. We are trying to make it work, but I am honestly struggling with my confidence and self-esteem. All of these thoughts in my head, I can't make them go away as hard as I try to focus on something else. This is plaguing me. Please, can anyone give me advice on how to move forward? I desire to only be with her, but the way she has been acting and living a single life is destroying me. Our therapist and psychiatrist wants us to stop talking about the past. I feel that it is not fair that I am not allowed to ask any more questions on this. Every time I bring this topic up, her story has not changed. If she did cheat on me, I don't think she will tell me. She said at the park how afraid she is of me hurting myself or hurting her, even the kids. She said she kept this stuff hidden from me because she was afraid of my reaction. I never did hurt myself that day, nor did I hurt anyone else. I have so much hatred in my heart towards that guy. She texted him stating it was inappropriate of her going over to see him at night because she is trying to work things out with her husband. He said, "I did not realize you were working things out. I was confused because you said you were done and he moved out. I would have preferred you kept my name out of this, but it's too late for that." My wife claims she never told him she was done with me and that she really was only going to watch a movie with him. It makes me so upset because this guy was a client of hers. She took photos of him with his boys. Turns out dude is divorced and I am positive he was looking to sleep with her when she was going over that night. I know what his intentions were, but again my wife argues it was just catching up with a friend. It is taking everything inside me to not talk to him directly. I am struggling with my mental health. I already struggle with depression from chronic severe pain, but this has really increased my depressive symptoms. I have such bad anxiety and stress that I am having tons of nightmares. I wake up every few hours completely drenched in sweat. My psychiatrist tells me my BP is through the roof even though I am laying down trying to sleep. The stress is hardcore. I got to keep it together so I don't mess up at work. Aside from work and playing my guitar to keep me occupied, I have thought about deleting my social medias to keep this out of sight, out of mind, but I don't trust her enough to do that either. Please anyone impart some wisdom on me, thank you. My wife, 3 years, cheated with her boss, so I filed her with divorce papers. Me, 32M, and wife, 30F, have been married for 3 years, together for 5 years. We live in Colombo, Sri Lanka at the moment. My wife's boss is 36, married with 2 kids. So the story starts with her cheating on me with her boss when we were having a relationship. I caught her going to a hotel room with her boss. One of my friends worked there, and he took photos of them. I immediately confronted her, and she denied it, saying I'm crazy. Then I showed the photos and she finally admitted to cheating. This happened when we were having a relationship for around 1 year. I immediately broke up with her and blocked her number, social media, etc. But after 2 weeks, she came to see me and was begging to start our relationship. She said it was a mistake, she wasn't thinking straight, and she was stressed with her work, and said everyone deserves a second chance. So I was dumb enough to give her a second chance and started the relationship again. But I set up some rules like checking her phone whenever I want, keeping an eye on her, and asking to stop all chatting and calls with her boss unless it is work-related. She agreed and everything went well. We got married in 2019 and everything was so perfect until last year December. Last year December my wife got a promotion at work and she said she wants to give her boss a dinner treat for that. We argued a lot about this, and she blamed me for my insecurity. She said that I should trust her because I didn't see any suspicious activity so far after the first time of cheating back in 2018. So she organized the dinner in one of the most luxury hotels here. Most people go there for romantic dinners, to propose, etc. And it was a candlelight dinner, and I said I'm not feeling comfortable with that. She again blamed me I'm full of insecurity and promised me nothing will happen. She took a day off from work on that dinner treat day, and went to salon in the afternoon to do her eyebrows and a facial. She usually do this before a wedding or any special party, so at this point I felt something is going on. And she selected a more open and revealing dress, but I didn't have too much argument about that because she already blamed several times saying I'm insecure. She went to the dinner, and I asked to get back by 10 p.m. She wasn't home by 10 p.m., so I decided to call her, and she did not answer the phone. I called her several times and she didn't answer the phone. She returned back at 2 a.m. I was so mad and asked why she didn't answer the phone, what took it so long, etc., in a very angry way. She very calmly said don't freak out, we went for a walk after dinner and just had a friendly talk. I didn't believe it for a second but couldn't do anything about it either. So I just slid it past. This year January my wife said she has to go to the Maldives with her boss for a business meeting with a potential client and said she has to stay there for 5 days. I went crazy as soon as I heard this, and we started fighting. She started to blame me again saying I'm full of insecurity, and I'm crazy that I don't have a proper social life. I've been WFH since the pandemic started. She went on a business trip and everything felt okay for the first 3 days. At least I felt okay, not sure about what happened there. But after day 3, I didn't get any calls from her or couldn't call her. It said that she is out of the coverage area. At this point, I lost all faith in my wife and knew something is probably going on. After she returned I asked what happened after day 3, and she said that the client had a private resort in a separate island and he invited them there. And said there's no reception on that island. I asked for more details about this resort and island, and she said she doesn't remember anything because the client organized everything, and they just got on a boat and went there. Edit. Thank you guys all for all the tips and suggestions. So I decided to go for the divorce and I left home for 4 days to spend some time alone in a beach resort I always go. Wrote a letter to her and left it in home asking for divorce, and just some stuff about her boss and her. I gave her 4 days to pack her stuff and go find a new place for her. And when I'm back, I'll start by meeting the lawyer. She called me like 10 times now, and I didn't answer at first, but finally decided to talk with her because she kept calling me. I will do a detailed post soon. Thanks a lot again. Update. So the day before yesterday, I took 1 week off from work and booked a hotel for 4 days and left home with a letter to her. In the letter, I said that I know you are ducking your boss again, and I know everything happened at the dinner and the 5 days business trip, actually I don't, and some stuff, and that I have decided to go for divorce. Also, I gave her 3 days to pack her stuff and go find a new place for her. I switched off my phone when I left the home because I didn't want her to bother me with her endless calls while driving. I went to the hotel, checked in, switched on my phone, and bang, 13 missed calls and messages were flooding. I just scrolled the messages, had a look, and didn't reply. She called me sometime after. I answered and she was crying, saying sorry for what she did and told me we can still fix this. I'm tired after a long drive and not in the mood to talk, so asked her to call tomorrow and hang up the phone. She asked for the hotel I'm at so she can come and talk to me in person, but I said I don't want to see you. She called me again yesterday, and we talked for 2 hours. I asked her, do you admit to cheating with your boss, and her answer was, I can explain everything. Please let me see you and explain everything. And I asked, did you duck your boss on that dinner date, and again her answer was the same. This went on for several other questions I asked, and I got mad and yelled at her, come on, for once at least be honest and answer my ducking questions. Then she said it all happened last December. She wanted to get the promotion, so she had a deal with her boss. She gets the promotion and her boss gets to duck her once. And she promised nothing happened from 2018 up to last year December. They both took a day off last December before the dinner date and ducked the whole day. She also said that they decided to end it and not mess up after, but accidentally had sex on the dinner date as well. And the bullcrap business trip was just for 2 days. They have extended it by 3 days to spend time together. And she said that she's ready to sacrifice anything to save our marriage, and will go no contact with her boss and quit her job. She said she doesn't love him or anything, she just wanted to have some fun and that's all. And said that she was planning to have kids this year, and so she won't be able to have fun again like that, so decided to play a little bit before that, etc. And she said that if I'm mad about her Maldives trip with her boss, and to fix everything, let's go to the Maldives next week. It's really close to here and just a 2-hour cheap flight. I immediately said no, because I know if I go on this trip with her I would probably change the decision. She said several times that she is ready to do whatever it takes to save our marriage. So I'm pretty solid with my decision to divorce her, but still, a part of my heart loves her. I know you guys get probably mad at me for that, last time called me simp, doormat guy, etc., but I really ducking loved her hell a lot. It's not easy to wipe out the feelings and love I had for her in all these years.